Hey everyone, it's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of August 24th. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced it will discontinue providing funding for solar and wind programs through its Rural Energy for America, or REAP, grant program. In recent years, the USDA has provided over $4 billion in to fund energy projects in rural and farming communities. The Inflation Reduction Act, or the IRA of 2022, added an additional $2 billion in funding for the program through fiscal year 2031. Post-IRA, over $1 billion of these funds have supported 6,822 different projects. This was from 2023 through 2025, contributing to an estimated $2.75 billion in rural economic development. The REAP grant program provides guaranteed loan financing and grant funding to agricultural producers and small rural businesses for renewable energy systems, as well as to make energy efficiency improvements. The program was officially created in 2008 through the Farm Bill, when Congress combined an energy efficiency program with one that focused on renewable energy. About 424,000 acres of rural land have been affected by solar and wind development as of 2020, which represents less than 0.05% of the nearly 900 million acres of land that's used for farming, according to a 2024 study by the USDA. The study also found that the land that was developed for solar did actually stay within the agricultural production. The future of the program now remains in doubt. The REAP grant and combined grant loan application process has been temporarily suspended or paused from July 1st through September 30th of this year. It's unclear whether the program will resume operating after that date. Already awarded funds were frozen in January of this year due to a presidential executive order that wanted to review all of the Inflation Reduction Act funding to release previously allocated funds. Applicants are now required to resubmit their application and focus on American energy production and remove any wording that mentions DEI or climate mandates. Across the country, electric prices have jumped more than twice as fast as the overall cost of living for the last year. 1 in 6 households reports having trouble paying their current electric bill. Utilities blame soaring energy demand as the primary reason for these increases. The Energy Department projects that for the first time next year, data centers and other commercial customers will use more electricity than residential households. The soaring price of natural gas is also pushing power prices higher. The Energy Department says that cost of gas used to generate power has jumped more than 40% in the first half of this year compared to last year, and they're expecting an additional 17% increase over the coming 12 months. The studies have found also that President Trump's pro-fossil fuel, anti-renewable energy policies have led to higher prices. A July report from climate think tank Energy Innovation found that the Republican spending mega bill that the president signed into law last month would increase wholesale electric prices by as much as 74%, largely due to the repeal of many Biden-era green energy incentives. The United States is now on track to break records in adding additional power generation capacity in 2025. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, or EIA, they reported this last week. EIA reported that developers plan to add 64 gigawatts of new generation this year, which would surpass the current record of 58 gigawatts set in 2002. A key difference between this year and the 2002 total is that this year 93% of the new capacity will come from wind and solar and battery sources, over half coming from solar despite cuts in the renewable energy subsidies. The 2002 total included 57 gigawatts of natural gas-fired generation, or about 98% of the total back then, while this year only 4.7 gigawatts of gas generation is expected to come online, representing only 7% of the new capacity. The EIA update also touched on forecasts dealing with the retirement of generation facilities. EIA reported that electricity generators plan to retire 12.3 gigawatts of capacity this year. That's 65% more than last year. The great majority of these retiring facilities will be aging coal plants as well as old natural gas turbines. The Ohio Power Siting Board has approved a 220 megawatt Eastern Cottontail solar project for construction. This sort of goes along with the fact that we're seeing a lot of solar being developed. The array will be located just north of Lancaster in Fairfield County, Ohio. The project is projected to create approximately 500 construction jobs, as well as a number of long-term jobs for operation and maintenance. Over the life of the project, Eastern Cottontail is expected to generate up to $80 million in tax revenues for local services throughout Fairfield County. The array will generate enough electricity to power the equivalent of 42,000 average American homes. The project will also implement an agrivoltaic component with sheep grazing under the panels to assist in vegetation management, keeping the land in an agricultural use. And that is the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.